Today we're looking at Section 5, Chapter 27, Conflicting Forces in Japan. Essentially how Japan will rise to be the empire status they will be during World War II. That being said, the first term is Hirohito. Ms. Whiteman?
Became Emperor of Japan in 1926. According to Japanese tradition, he was the nation's supreme authority and a living god. He was a private man who did not prefer power politics. As a result, Japan's move towards aggression is unclear. He ruled for 63 years.
Excellent. He's going to be an effective ruler because he's almost going to be treated or viewed upon as though he's a descendant from the sun god. Okay, whenever you can claim divine right, which means what? Having divine right? Power comes from God. Very good. Whenever you can claim that, relatively no one can challenge you. So he has this going for him, which is why he's ultimately going to rule for so long and be so effective. That being said, ultranationalists. Ms. Donahue.
They're extreme nationalists, which means that they have high pride in their country and go to war.
Very good. So we're going to add those two in there. Pride equals war at times. At times is the key word there. Nonetheless, you can have absolute love and devotion for your country, but if you're an ultranationalist, meaning you're willing to die for your country, okay, either within war or some kind of an uprising, something along those lines. Super, super pride for the country. Manchuria. Ms. Rudd.
Historic province in northeast China. They were rich in resources, and Japan will seize them in conflict.
Very good. Okay, now why does Japan need to seize Manchuria?
Natural resources.
Natural resources, but doesn't Japan have them?
Yeah, but it's connected to land.
It's connected to a massive body of land. Very good. And Japan is what geographically?
An island.
A small island nation. Very good. Okay, so that's why we have to go forth and get our natural resources. They have some, but they're attempting to be an industrial power, as is the West, the United States, so they need more. Okay? Excellent. Japan on the rise in the 1920s. How did Japanese foreign policy change during the 1920s? Ms. Sackett.
To strengthen its relationship with other countries, Japan drew back from its imperial goals. They wanted to improve business relationships with Western powers.
Excellent. Perfect. Okay? And in order to do this, to improve that relationship with the West, we're going to cut back on needing all of this land, territory acquisition. We're going to cut back on all this to make our image look better. So that's a big idea you guys need to have there. Image equals better. Okay? You want to work with, economically or socially, a country that's relatively peaceful and that you can trust. If they go forth just taking on all kinds of armies and looking aggressive as Nazi Germany will, how many people are going to willingly trade with Japan?
Not a lot of people.
Not many. Very good. So they want to maintain favoring in the West. What were some of the sources of unrest in Japan in the 1920s? So here we have progress on the rise. Now it's starting to look a little iffy. Lily?
Trade suffered as foreign buyers could no longer afford to purchase Japanese silks and other exports. Unemployment in the city soared while rural peasants were muffled from starvation.
Very good. Okay, so we have the poorest sector of our society is very poor, as in subsistence living, maybe even less than that. Okay, young people are going to revolt against tradition because we're looking towards the West. All right, that's the whole theme of this chapter, is what can the West offer? We've looked at it in the Middle East, now we're looking at it in Asia, as far as education and rights. So they're starting to see all these opportunities that they don't have. All right? Military leaders are going to condemn political and business corruption. Well, they should, but the method in which they're going to condemn them, hostilities, aggression, not the best approach. All right? And then finally, the economy fluctuated quite a lot. Now, that being said, what is going on in the United States that's causing the economy to fall apart?
Great.
Alex?
Lack of goods made in America. We're importing and more debts.
Okay. Debts is going to be part of the reason this is going to occur, but what's this known as? The Great Depression. Very good. So next to this final bullet point, write Great Depression.
What's fluctuated?
It varies a lot. Like one day the economy is very strong, the next day it just falls out. Okay? It's like saying the stock market fluctuates a lot. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay. Great Depression. Big idea there. Excellent. We continue. How did the Japanese militarists rise to power in the 1930s? So we've left the prosperity of the 20s as the United States. What is the nickname for the 20s in the United States? You guys know? The Roaring 20s. Very good. Everything's great, and then we just crash. Okay, that's the major theme of the 1930s. That being said, How did the Japanese militarists rise to power in the 1930s? Ms. Rudd.
They won the support from the people for the foreign conquest, and they had to fulfill the promises of the people.
Good. Okay, fulfill the promises of the people as far as pulling the country out. That being said, unrest caused by assassinations and plots by extremists caused the civilian government to bow to military control. All right, we need control, and that's the key word there. As far as fulfilling promises, like we started with, and exercising that control. All right, now why are they supporting foreign conquest? Why is the public supporting this?
More land.
More land, which equals more
Power.
power and natural resources. Very good. So both of you are correct. We have the model of the United States having this. Why can't we in Japan? It's essentially that message. Okay? Any questions before we go to objectives? Perfect. Objective 1. Specify how Japanese democracy grew in the 1920s. Mr. Hartman.
1925, total male suffrage. Economy flourished. All men given right to vote. I'll just repeat that. 1945, women's suffrage. 1922, limited navy to help relations with West.
Perfect. Okay. Now, we put this sub-bullet in here because we're looking at the 1920s and we're like, well, why did we include women? Because that constant theme as far as women often being viewed as second-class citizens, well, it'll be another 20 years until they're able to participate in government. All right? It is stupid, whoever just said that. I agree. 1925 male suffrage means what? Suffrage.
Right to vote.
Right to vote. Very good. Okay? Bam, there it is. Regardless of your wealth, regardless of how much land you own or who you are, if you're of legal voting age, you are able to vote. Okay? 1922, and again, whenever we have years, make sure you circle them. Those are big ideas. Limited navy to help support or protect relations in the West. Why would you do that? Why would they just reduce the amount of navy they have? Or the size of their navy? Alex?
So other countries wouldn't see them as a threat and they'd want to trade with them?
Very good. No threat. That's a big idea there. All right? Success of political parties in the Japanese Diet. What is the Japanese Diet? Similar to in the U.S. No? Similar to a governing body. What's ours called?
Congress.
Congress. Very good. Write that down. Okay? That's just what they're called. So that being said, it is a republic, meaning you all elect your officials to act on your behalf. All right? Explain why the Great Depression undermined Japanese democracy. So all this progress is going to just kind of be washed away. Why? Ms. Schneid.
Military officials and ultranationalists took control by holding officials for supporting the West. People were mad by the Japanese treatment of people in the West and wanted to expand. The Manchuria incident took place in 1931 and condemned by the LOM.
League of Nations.
Japan removed itself.
Good. Okay, so all these different things are occurring here as far as foreign policy. So this is going to shape ultimately why the militarists are just going to grasp the nation and go with it. Military officials, ultranationalists, condemn people supporting the West. Why would that make sense? You're a military official, and this is your opportunity to say basically, why are you following the West? What do you guys think? What occurred with this? Where did that essentially start? What country?
Germany.
What country did the Great Depression start in?
Oh.
The United States. Very good. Okay, so that being said, if you're a military leader, all right, and you have a lot of power and you have a decent following, is this not your opportunity to say, why are you following the West? They're in a Great Depression. Okay, you could look right to this example and be like, this is your future if you stick with it. Okay? That's one of the major ideas as far as they're going to condemn those supporting the West. Essentially, in their mindset, if you're supporting the West, you're also supporting the downfall of Japan. If that's what you'd like, then by all means continue on. Outraged by the treatment of Japanese immigrants in the West, almost viewed as, third-class citizens or lower. Okay? People who they culturally ally themselves with, viewed very poorly in society. That being said, we have the opportunity for the Manchurian incident. So we claim the Manchurian province from where, Mr. Shovels? Where's Manchuria?
Isn't it the Chinese province?
Very good. Claim from China. Excellent. Condemned by the LON. What is the LON?
League of Nations.
League of Nations. Very good. That's okay. You can condemn us all you want. We're kicking ourselves out. We don't need you is the message they send. No need. Okay? Now, another nation is going to do this as well. It's going to be called Germany in World War II. All right? So you can already see the path that Japan's going on is going to parallel directly Germany and Italy. That being said, identify the policies Japanese militarists pursued. What are they looking for? Mr. Sullivan.
Expansion of the empire into China and Asia. It revived ancient wars. Warrior using built a all-around empire. I don't know how to say
Emperor
that.
Hirohito.
Yeah.
Very good. So what are they going to ultimately do? They're going to go backward into the time of the samurai, a warrior society through which Japan will be so successful for during centuries. They're going to go back to this. Revival of ancient warrior values as far as strength, intensity, courage, honor, etc., etc., etc. Okay? And we'll all promote this through the worship of Hirohito. Like I said, some of which culturalists will say he descended from the sun god of Japan. Okay? So make sure after this little portion here you have divine rights. Okay? Because that's almost how he will rule, with such power and strength. Expansion of the empire into China and all of Asia. We're going to start that with Manchuria, which we've already covered. And then eventually they will do their own island hopping campaign, starting with the Philippines, causing aggression in the Pacific for the United States. That being said, here's where we are with assignments. If you do not have this done, which all of you should, but if you're absent for one day or you forgot to do the section for whatever reason, make sure sections 1 through 5 PRs are done. Okay? Again, if you were here that whole time or you did it as homework, it should already be done, so this should be good to go. Okay, the remainder of the homework packet, which you'll get back in a second, and then ensure that the whole book review, that 1 through 20 that I passed back during class, is done as well. If you are confident with all of that, you can go ahead and turn that in now.